Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Happy New Year, everyone. Are you excited to start the year? I am. It is January 2nd, 2024. And you know what that means? Everybody's making their New Year's resolutions. Well, not everyone. I don't think you are, because we do intentional goals, don't we? Hey, there's Jocelyn. Hello. Good to have you here. I was thinking I've got a lot of stuff on my mind, and I'm just going to kind of throw it all out there. So hopefully, I got some stuff to show you too. I'm going down, coming back. You can see I am in the room that is still under construction. We had a great big it was our second annual brunch that we do for New Year's here, and we had about 30 people here. It was really fun. But having this great big space, boy, does that make a big, big difference in how the house feels. Helen, hello. Happy New Year to you too. So it's interesting because there are so many people out there right now who are busy making New Year's resolutions. They're trying to figure out, what do I do next? A lot of people storming the gates of, Weight Watchers and all the rest of that. And, sales go up, people are on diets. And I looked it up online, and 48% of people who set New Year's resolutions, it's all about their weight. You know what the next one is? Interestingly, it's to be healthier, spend less money, eat at home more often. And it's interesting because this is kind of the focus that we have had for a very long time on feeding ourselves correctly, understanding that this vehicle that we live in, this skin sack, if you will, is this is the only one we're going to get. So, we just got a message from StreamYard that we are not streaming on Facebook. Yikes. Bet you people are looking for us too and wondering what's going on. I don't know, Jenny, tell me what you want to do. Should we start over? I don't know. Okay, so we're just going to go with that. How about that? We're just going to go with it. So we've got some people from YouTube. We can live with that. And I just got a text message from a friend who's saying, what are your goals for 2022? Very funny. It will take a few minutes to start over. Okay. I don't know. Maybe we put a message on Facebook, join us on YouTube, and the link, I don't know. People are looking for us, though, I'm sure. Anyway, I have several things on my brain, and I want to share them with you because this funny week that we have, it's kind of a pivotal week between just after Christmas and just right before New Year's. I'm thinking in my head, and I know you do the same thing too, that we have this idea in our heads, 2024 is going to be different. And we do this quite often. And this is where this idea of New Year's resolutions come. And we know, even though we know that New Year's resolutions, I read a big thread on Reddit saying that New Year's resolutions are mostly gone, not just within the month, but within the week. And it's most common like day 6, day 7. And a lot of times that is because of people trying to make these huge pivots. So today I want to talk about how we can just clean up some stuff that we maybe don't want. It's sort of like getting the holidays put back in the boxes and starting over again, right? And that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. And then I'm also looking at too mindset and the importance of setting up these incredible rituals that we have in the morning to really take us to that next place, piggybacking on things that we already have established. So today in my journal, I'm just going to read it to you because it was just a brief journal entry. I had an early pickleball game. Hi, Trish, by the way. Did I say hi to you? What does Trish say? She said, "Happy New Year's, no resolutions for me." There you go. Absolutely. But one of the things is that I thought was just so interesting. I have seen so many emails with "New Year, New You," and at that point, it's just kind of I just get so burned out on that because it's making these promises that 9 times out of 10, or probably 99 times out of 100, people are just not going to be able to deliver on because it's such a huge, humongous shift and change. And today I want to focus on the little things that we can do to just start moving the needle in the direction that we want it to move in. And of course, on Monday, this coming up Monday, I believe it's the 8th, we are beginning our new sprint of the new year. We got a lot of new people signing up. And, this is kind of a natural thing, clear the decks, et cetera, which it is. So that is at savingdinner.com/hub. And that hub has everything there. It has the downloadable hot sprint menu that you can, just download. It has the whole thing. It explains the situation. It explains what it's all about. There's some recipes in there, and it just makes it easy for you. There's also, yeah, I know, Jocelyn, I'm so ready to sprint, aren't you? And then also there's the webinar that we have, that I've done over and over again that is recorded that you can take a look-see at because it does help to refresh the concepts of what we're doing. When we understand why we're doing what we do, it makes it easier to accept and to implement. I found that to be completely true. So anyway, I just want to share with you what I was thinking about this morning. This is from my journal, and it says this: New year, and yeah, I want a new me too, one that consistently shows up. I want certain things in my life to be like my morning coffee: dependable, daily, strong, consistent, quality, and energizing. Now, if I can say that about my cup of coffee, can I say that about my life? And that's what really got me thinking about how I know without a shadow of a doubt that, even if there's no coffee filters, I'm going to figure out a way to makeshift a coffee filter. If there's no coffee, I'm going to scrounge and I'm going to find some. This is what we do when something is important to us. And I'm sorry, but my morning coffee is important to me. What do we do with the rest of our lives? That's what I was kind of looking at and thinking, if I can do this with coffee, can I do this with all the other things that are important to me in my life, right? So interestingly, the quote of the week from my friend Jim Quick, who is a brain expert, by the way, says that your brain is like a supercomputer and your self-talk is the program. And I love that because that's when I started to say in my mind, in my head, I'm going to be like my morning coffee. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be dependable. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to I'm going to show up, daily. Because that's what it takes, is that kind of daily commitment. It's not just when we feel like it. It's not just when, we have maybe a little pressure on us. It's doing it even when we don't want to. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share with you. And then this showed up in my inbox too, and I'm going to read it to you. And this is this guy named Light Watkins. I don't even know how I know him, and I don't know how he ended up in my inbox, but I just thought it was such a good thing. And he said, we need to tell ourselves a stronger story. At some point, you will try to use one of these 5 stories to let yourself off the hook from sticking with your big goal for this year. You'll say, I don't have time. I can't afford to keep this up. I'm not seeing any progress. Skipping this once isn't the end of the world. I'll come back to it later. But on a soul net level, you know that these stories are all fictional. You made them up to justify indulging in a short-term craving. So we want to stop pretending like our goal is too big and remember, it's our story that's too weak. To get more resolve, tell yourself a stronger story. Isn't that great? And so today I want to tell a stronger story. I want to tell a story today about what it is that we can do with the habits, the good habits that we've already accomplished, and how we can make these tiny shifts and work our way into our bigger goals. Because let's face it, we all have them. And it's that consistency of showing up, like your morning coffee, that creates the momentum to move forward. So let's talk about it. First of all, I mean, how many people do you know, and maybe it's you as well, that are just saying, it's clean up on aisle 5 here. I've kind of gone off the rails for the holidays, and I just, all that eat, drink, and be merry making kind of stuff takes its toll, doesn't it? It does. And, it's a given during the holiday. And even though it's a given, it's also an opportunity to reflect on what's all happened. How's the whole year gone? And to make some corrections on that. Now, understand this, and this is the most important part. We can do this without dumping on ourselves, without shredding ourselves and saying, you're so stupid, you can't get anything right. What's wrong with you? Da, da, da. Remember, where our energy goes, our energy flows. So if we're giving energy to that, we're putting ourselves into a place of not having time or energy for anything else. Instead, it's just a simple analytic glance at what the heck is really truly going on. And trying to figure out what stuff needs to shift in order for me to go to the place that I really truly want to go. What story am I willing to shift and change? Do I want a stronger story than my excuses? So we have to understand too, there's psychology involved, there's environment involved, there's strategy, there's figuring out schedules, there's to-do lists, there's all kinds of stuff. And above all, there's goals set with intention. Now, behind every goal, with the intention is the push on the goal. And when we affirm and intend and implement on a daily basis those things in our goals, those goals tend to get done. Because again, it's like the daily coffee. It shows up daily and consistently. Strong, quality, energizing. Goals do that. They do energize you because you're connecting with that very thing that you want, right? And pushing through and getting past and not getting stuck in the place of saying, oh, it's just too hard, it's too this, it's too that, gives us the freedom to shake that stuff off and to really zone in on what it is that we want. So I've got 10 things that will help with these little shifts. And I hope you find them helpful. I did. Some of these things I've got written actually in my journal of things. This is what I'm going to do next year. This is going to help me with some of my bigger goals. And the number one thing is to understand habit loops, because every habit involves a cue. There's something that's going to trigger you. There's a routine and the behavior itself and a reward, right? So think about like the coffee part, right? So you get up and the routine is what? The trigger is getting up and the routine is walking into the kitchen and for me, grinding the beans. I grind the beans every morning. So I'll grind the beans on my way out to taking the dog for his morning routine. So as I take him out, and I don't, this is not, it's not the WALK time. I'm not going to say it because he's sitting right here. We don't need to be rousing him up. It's not that time. It's just time to go potty, for heaven's sakes. I mean, everybody needs to do that for first thing in the morning. So when I identify this existing habit, all the things the steps that become a part of it, then I know this is how it goes. This is what's happening next. And my reward is going to be that hot cup of coffee that I look forward to every single morning. Your hot habit, whatever it is that you have well established, there's always a reward attached to that at the end. So when we understand the components of an existing habit, then we can understand the groundwork in which we can attach another habit. Now, they call that habit stacking, right? I call it piggybacking a habit because to me, I don't stack the habits. I need to piggyback because The strong habit is this is the base, and the weaker habit is the new thing that I need to carry on my back. And that trigger is, of course, this established habit. So it makes such a difference in getting into the place of actually doing the next thing. Now, I've done that before with my coffee, making my coffee in the morning and then doing a 4-minute workout. Simple and easy. And I'm doing it. And the middle of doing it, the coffee stops. It's done. But that cup of coffee isn't until after that habit is finished and done. And that's the 4-minute workout. The other thing we need to look at is starting small. Now, even, just if a plane is off just a few degrees, it will be, instead of landing in Los Angeles the way it was supposed to, it'll land in Honolulu. It has to be exact. We have to keep our task and our radar on at all times. So starting small helps us to create small, achievable changes. And maybe you're saying, well, you know what? A 4-minute workout is just too much for me. I've been sitting on my butt. I've been a couch potato for so long, and it's just too much. Okay, do a 2-minute workout. Cut it in half and start small. But that small is enough. I knew one person one time who said it was just trying to get that gym habit going. And they, I think ridiculously so started small. And they just put one gym shoe on and walk around like that for a while. They obviously not even going to the gym, but just preparing and dressing for the gym. That might be a little bit too small, but okay, whatever turns your key. But, if we break down things into smaller, manageable tasks, we can get things done. And when we're doing this from our to-do list for our goals, then things start to shift dramatically. Now, remember, we set goals for 12 weeks in our goal setting stuff. We use the Take Back Your Life journal. That's at savingdinner.com/journal, by the way. If you don't have one, now would be a good time to get it. We're clearing those out. We've got new ones coming. But you still have goals to create. And every single day you take those goals and you break them down into I am sentences, because that's an affirmation, which becomes an intention, which sets up and creates new pathways in your brain. That is the hugely magic sauce that creates the momentum for change. And when we've got this going on for ourselves, then we can see that the process and the progress as being way more feasible. That's it. And so less daunting, because we don't need to get overwhelmed. What we need to do is get down into the granular places of, what do I need to do next? That's always the case. We have to ask, what's next? Because then we can step by step it. Then we can add it in. One of the things that I did, and this was super helpful, is I took a time block sheet. We have those, the time block sheets, if you've used them, at savingdinner.com/time. They're free. Download a whole bunch of them and take them and say, okay, so this is what I'm trying to accomplish. What do I need to do so that I can fit this into my day, and start blocking it off? In other words, instead of using the time block sheet for seeing where all your time is going, which is another way to use it, it's also to see, what do I need to do in order to put these things into my day? Where can this fit? So one of the things that I learned is I have to be up by 7, and by 8 o'clock, I need my morning routine done so that I can do the next things on my list. And it just makes all the difference in the world. So this morning, I got up at 7:30, and so I was behind from the very beginning. So I'm not beating myself up for that. I'm not saying, oh, you just didn't do it and you just didn't follow whatever, and you're going to have to start setting an alarm. I'm going to see, as time goes on, I'm going to see how it works the rest of this week. Then I'm going to go back and be analytical about it and shift and change what needs to be changed. You see how that's where my energy is going. And when I can do that, then I can stay in a positive place and keep moving. So one of the girls that I play pickleball with, Barb, today she said, I'm starting a new habit. I read this and I want to start doing it. I'm going to do it, and I'm sharing it with you because I think it's so smart. And she said she lays in bed and she smiles at herself before she even gets out of bed. And she said, I'm noticing that's helping me to lift my mood. And she said, I didn't do it this morning. And so I'm in the bathroom, getting ready for pickleball. And she said, and then I just got back in my bed, put the covers up and smiled, and then got back out of bed. And it made a difference. And that's the kind of clear intention with which we need to be living our lives in order to accomplish our goals. One of the things she wants to have a good, even, happy mood. Don't we all? How do you do that unless you do it? That's what she did. And I thought that was really great. The other thing we need to do is really consider our consistency over our intensity, because that's what leads to burnout. We start out all hot and bothered. Let's go, let's do it. We go to the gym, we just crush it. And 4 days later, we can barely walk. And we're feeling so terrible. We're searching the cupboards for the Advil or whatever. And what is that doing? That is not setting ourselves up. It's not going for the pace of the whole thing. It's not going for the goal per se, except it's going for watch me do this and watch what happens. Because it's better to do something consistently and a little less than what you can do than to do it irregularly and show up and then pack out and show up and back out. I mean, I've done that. I know that. That's my whole thing. It's like, I don't want that. These last couple of weeks, irregular as heck, lifting the weights. But I know, and in your heart of hearts, that if we just make the attempt and make a stab at it and just show up, not with one shoe on, but with both shoes on, and just do that work, just say, I'm just going to give it 10 minutes. Cool. There you are. And that's consistent. And that in and of itself is enough. The other thing we need to do is leverage those existing habits. My gosh, use your coffee, use your time for walking. I know tons of people who use their time for walking to take their dogs with them and, obviously get tons of exercise for them and for themselves, listen to podcasts, have a gratitude walk and are out talking about different things, stacking those good habits of the things that you want to do, listening to a book on audio. Now, obviously do this if it's safe out to do it. You don't want to be doing this in a crowded city and then suddenly find yourself getting mugged or whatever. But this is something that you can do on a regular basis. Like one of the things that I do after my meditation too is I'll have my second cup of coffee and journal. That's when I do my journaling. And then that's the flow of what that's the goal, is the flow. And we need to also focus on the reward, not just the doing of, the reward. What is the reward when you go to the gym? You don't walk out of the gym and say, look at this, everything just magically changed over time. But that won't happen. It's going to take time. It's going to take a few months or even a year. But I guarantee, simply because of your body's chemistry, the endorphins will surge and you will feel better. You will notice a change in your metabolism. You'll notice all these different things that are happening simply because you stayed consistent with the goal. So we need to keep our eye on the thing. Sure, long-term vision, yes. But also the short-term thing. I just finished working out. What do I feel? How does this make me feel? I feel accomplished. I feel good. I feel happy. Endorphins are chemical hormones that make us feel happy. And I don't know about you, but feeling happy, I like that. It makes me feel better all the time. It's a great way to work out your stress. So when we do this and we focus on the reward, that habit is more likely to stick. And that habit is the thing that is a component of the big, fat, juicy goal that you've set this year. And I hope you've set them. If you haven't yet, well, get on it. The other thing is changing up your environment to fit the life and to fit the future you of who you want. Now, if the future you is somebody who looks like they've have 50 pounds less on their body or whatever, then your pantry and your refrigerator are going to reflect that. Your, exercise attire is going to reflect that. Your hydration station is going to reflect that. As we get into the whole thing for Hot Melt Sprint starting this Monday, and again, it is free. What's the hang up? What's the stop? What's stopping you? When we do this and we set our environment up for success, we've got our workout clothes laid out for the next day. We've got our hydration station set up. We've got our journal sitting by the chair that we always sit in first thing in the morning with our coffee. All of these things can fall into place. That's not piling on. That's structuring an environment that supports the new future you. Okay? This is part of what our goal is. It doesn't have to be hard, right? It doesn't have to be hard. The other thing is the mindset shift, because I'll tell you, we have to cultivate the growth mindset. The growth mindset is, I can do this. The closed mindset is, you know what the set mindset is? That's too hard. I can't do it. Everybody else can. This, I don't have the time, etc. It's the weak story that we tell ourselves. And we can tell ourselves a stronger story anytime we decide. So this mindset shift is incredible, because it also puts us in the place of resilience and adaptability. Because when we're resilient, we're seeing the thing through, we can also adapt it and shift it and change it to fit what is next. This is why I like to use the time block sheets, by the way. Accountability and support. We have that on Facebook. We have the Hot Melt Sprint group, which is wonderful. And the Hot Melt Sprint group is there to encourage, to support, to ask for encouragement, to ask for support, to just be there for one another. Communities do that, and communities help. And if you read all the research study about people who are trying to make significant changes in their lives, it was the community aspect was one of the three legs of the stool, So we have to look at that as a part of our journey. Doing things alone, Lone Ranger style, it makes it really hard. And who are you going to be? Who's going to hold your feet to the fire, right? The last, no, it's not the last thing, but one of the big things is the patience and persistence part, because I'll tell you, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. There's a cha-cha involved. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. There is, some frustration involved. Nobody gets through this. Nobody just magically comes up with a schedule and goals and steps and just does it and have it not have to be corrected or shifted or moved around a little bit. We need the fluidity in our lives for this kind of thing. And then when we do that, we can work from the place of flow. That's when our energy is greatest. But it takes adjustment, and everybody deserves to be able to create a custom fit out of this. So, you have to be willing to allow for the setbacks as well as the victories. That's just the case. And number 10 is a huge thing, and it's to reflect and again, adjust. When we are regularly reflecting on our progress, and that means that we're writing it down and we're tracking what we're doing. The things that get tracked get improved. That's a aberration on the Peter Rucker Peter Rucker quote. And the whole thing about it is that when it's written down, it's embedded just ever so slightly more into our heads. And this is very, very important. And when we do this, we learn what works for us and we learn what doesn't work for us. We change it up and we fix it, we customize it, and we get the fit we want. I'll tell you, when we were skiing a lot in Colorado, both Mark and I bought new boots and had them custom fit. I will tell you, my boots, what a difference that meant. For me, I had warm feet, my feet, everything about it that were just right. Mark's boots, however, didn't help. They were too tight and he'd find himself getting numb. He even felt like he might have gotten permanent nerve damage from boots that didn't fit just right. When you're skiing, your boots are part of your most critical, important gear. You want to keep your feet warm. You want to be able to, you're using your feet constantly as you're skiing down that hill. So having those boots fit means that you're going to have success going down the hill. When the boots don't fit, it just brings misery. And when your goals and your schedule and everything about it isn't a good fit, that's nerve damage right there, because it gets on your last nerve and then you just ditch the whole thing. So my encouragement for you today is to tell yourself a much stronger story about who you are and what you're capable of. Because the strength that you have inside is probably your untapped potential. We all have it. Don't sell yourself short. Don't just push it off and say, it's just too hard for me. It is not. It is not. You have what you need. You have the ability. You have the strength. It's just a matter of persevering, staying the course, being patient and kind with yourself, and creating a custom fit. And as we go into our first Hot Meal Sprint of the year, starting this Monday, again, savingdinner.com/hub, that's where everything is. We have the opportunity to create the newness, to get rid of all the inflammation, to start clearing out all the things that need clearing out. This is a fresh start, new year. So start it fresh with new goals, new intentions, and with a new body that's here to support you. All right. Oh, I forgot about over 40 water. Shoot. Yeah, don't forget about over 40 water. By the way, yeah, people are loving it. Go to savingdinner.com/40. Over 40 water is amazing. It has so many ingredients in there that's going to support your body, your brain, your mood, the whole shoot and match. Wait till you see it. And especially what I like about it is the energy. The energy just soars with this. So check it out at savingdinner.com/40. All right. That's what I have for you. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, Catherine. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for showing up today. Savingdinner.com/announcements for all the announcements. And I will see you later. Peace.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.